We are happy to bring to, for the very first time, a brand new member of the Speakers Bureau. She's the founder of Pure Freedom and also the mother of, I was going to say 5, but I found out she just had a baby on Tuesday. Now the mother of 6 children. It's Christina King. Christina, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's my honor to be on your program.
Well, it's an honor for us to have you and to introduce you today as the newest member of the Speakers Bureau. And we have some information for folks today about how they can arrange to have you come to their area. You have joined Jason and Kristalina Everett as what I think is a very formidable team in this area of chastity and modesty. Speakers can go out around the country. We'll tell folks about that during the course of the program. But we have a lot of ground we want to cover, and again, open phone lines. If you want to speak with Christina today, she's got a lot of experience. She uses real-life situations, and she's got great advice for parents to help young people in the areas of modesty and chastity. And again, young people, you are welcome to call as well if you'd like. I'd like to begin and have your thoughts in the area of the societal influence on young people today, especially culture, the message that our modern culture is giving to young people, fashions, behaviors, things like this. How powerful, how strong is that an influence on young people today?
I think it's a very powerful influence on them, especially when you're seeing some of the most primetime television programs and Hollywood productions showing that the more that you display your body, for instance, if you look at the war between Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears and some of the other pop stars, it almost seems as if you take more off, you become more powerful, successful, make more money, sell more albums. And so they're setting themselves up as role models from young people on, some as young as 8, 9 years old, that are already concerned with body image. And sometimes it's not just about being sexy, but they're concerned even about being too fat or overweight. So attractiveness, appearance, all these things are really heavily settling in the minds of really young people. And by the time they're teenagers, they've really been absorbed into the culture and to the thinking and the mindset of peer pressure and the standards that have been set before them. And unless, we as adults and parents help them to filter through some of this stuff and put it in the proper perspective as to what truly their dignity is all about, and it's not just aesthetic, they're going to really come in conflict with trying to live a holy life in this culture.
Well, you make a great point there, and perhaps we can take that as a point of departure into the next thing I'd like to ask you about, and that is, I think a lot of young people today, you mentioned Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and so forth, a lot of people feel like they have to sort of appear a certain way, and what I think they're trying to do is to gain affirmation, true, authentic affirmation, actually love. Maybe they're really looking for love, and yet they present themselves almost in a lustful way. Talk about the difference between love and lust, if you would.
Absolutely. That was something that I struggled with. I was very popular growing up, blonde hair, blue eyes. I went to school in California, was a cheerleader, dating. Like if I tell young people, if I told you the name of the boy that I dated when I was out there, you would know his family. That's how prominent of a sports figure his family was. So the peer pressure was really on me. And I had come from a very dysfunctional family, had lived in foster care and had some abuse issues growing up. So I felt that, wow, I get a lot of attention based on how I look, so this must be my biggest assets is what I look like. And so I began to myself distort in my mind what love and lust was. And I felt the more lustful glances I got, the more I was affirmed and the more people liked me, never realizing, not having grown in the faith, what the Scripture says about love. Love is patient, love is kind. If you look at what love is defined at by Holy Scripture, love is an act of the will. It is not an emotion. See, I love my husband, and my husband loves me. Now, that means that he changes a diaper when he doesn't feel like it, or he gets up and goes to work, or, we clean up after a child has been sick in the middle of the night, and you're cleaning it up because we love them. Those are acts of the will. I don't like to do those things, but I will myself to do them because love is patient and kind, and it is giving up of something for the better good of something else, putting someone else's best interest before your own. And so love between two people should definitely be seeking out the best interest of that other person, because as we know, God did not create other people for us. He created them for their own sake. And so we can't see each other as objects, but rather as individuals that God has created for a special purpose.
You brought up the point earlier about how girls sometimes dress in a way that provokes sex from guys, or the thought of it in their minds. But a lot of times girls don't realize this.
One girl pointed out to me, she said, a lot of girls don't dress for guys. They dress for other girls. It's like a competition. You know, so if you show up at a party and a girl's wearing the same thing you are, they get like catty, like, yeah, you look better in that than I do. You know, guys aren't like that. You know, if Justin and I had the same shirt on today, he's like, hey, we got the same shirt, we're twins, yeah, how cool. You know, and so girls' psychology of fashion and of dress is very different than guys, and their attractions are very different. Like, if I were wearing shorts today, you know, how many times do you think you've been looking at my legs? He's got some pretty cute legs. You know, I mean, no, it's not even going to cross your mind. Yet if a girl's sitting in front of me with shorts, the legs, it's beautiful, man's visually attracted. That's why Pope John Paul II said for women to understand modesty, they must first have an insight into the male psychology, that we're wired very differently than you are. And if you really want a guy to love you for your intelligence, your personality, who you are as a person, do your outfits distract him from that? Or do they invite him to think about more than just your body? Because if a woman dresses in some like a t-shirt that could fit well on a 3-year-old, you know, and then she's complaining that guys don't respect her, she's being her own worst enemy. And she said, well, I should be able to dress however I want and guys should treat me respectfully. True. You could be a stripper and guys should treat you respectfully. But the fact is, when you dress in a certain way, like you look at prostitutes in the 1960s, in the 50s, they dated like women dress going to church today. And the problem is, people say, well, fashions have changed. That's true, but men's minds have not. Now, I was in Mass the other day, and a girl was wearing one of these new shirts that's supposedly fashionable. It's basically a negligee. And it's basically like a satin-looking thing with little ruffles on the edges. And like 15 years ago, that was underwear. And now they're wearing it to go up to get communion. And you're sitting there in Mass behind these people, and you're just wondering, yeah, I don't care if fashion's changed. Men do not change. And when we see that, we think of you as simply a collection of body parts. And if you truly long in your heart to be loved for them more than just your body, why aren't you sending me the invitation to invite me to think of you like that? And so for a girl, she's got to understand that girls have so much power and just the way they dress. They don't even need to say a word. They have, but a culture of like immodest women will necessarily be a culture of uncommitted men, because the women are saying with their outfits and their mannerisms and the way they dance and the way they dress, they're basically saying, I will give myself to you, yet you don't even have to know me in return.
I see girls, I mean, it's freezing cold one day in January, and I'm like bundled up, like, oh, my eyes is all that's showing. And I see a girl walk past me in like flip-flops and a mini skirt, and I'm just like, why are you doing that? Like, I understand you want to look nice for class, but that's insane. It's 2 degrees outside. Like, that can't be comfortable for you. And meanwhile, guys are eyeing her up and down as she's walking to class, and it's just, it can't make her feel good.
Because a woman isn't longing to be gawked at. She wants love. But girls say, well, I want both. You know, I want them to gawk at me, unlove me. But the bottom, you pick, choose one. You will get what you choose it wisely, and make your decision. The problem is the world has kind of decided towards, I want to be gawked at. You know, because they don't have the confidence that if they dress in a more modest way, that guys will approach them. And it shows, from a guy's perspective, it shows insecurity. Because it's like, why do you have to throw yourself at me? Don't you think there's something about you that I would come to learn about, that I would make me want to get to know you more? And so for a guy, it shows a lack of confidence. Girls think, well, I'm confident, I'm proud of my body. But it's like, are you proud of the rest of who you are? You know, and so I think with modesty, it's so important just for girls to understand the way guys think. And by dressing modestly, you're helping us. I mean, honestly, it's so hard as a guy to have a pure imagination in today's world. Men need to be challenged to be gentlemen. And when a woman set the bar so low, the guys aren't going to jump up and be these knights in shining armor. I remember being in Philadelphia, and we're sitting at it was a Pat's Philly cheesesteaks, one of my favorite places on earth to eat. We're sitting there, and we're sitting there, and we hear the noises of barnyard animals in downtown Philadelphia at noon. And we hear, moo, you know, man, cock-a-doodle-doo. And I'm thinking, what is going on? And we looked around the corner, and sure enough, there was a table with about 4 or 5 middle-aged Italian men sitting on a picnic table, mooing to any woman who would walk by, or making the sounds of billy goats or roosters or chicken, like any type of barnyard animal. They could relate to the woman with that information, I guess. And the women would walk by and roll their eyes, and you know, it was funny. I admit, I had to laugh. I mean, it was you know, but it was funny that they couldn't relate to women in a more interesting way. way. That was their way of saying, yeah, I like you, moo, and the women in this culture have just got to be to the point where they got to be kind of sick of it. I think women universally are pretty sick of it. It's like, and when you go out looking for guys to look at you like that, it's like you want to be fed by something, but it's like trying to be fed by cotton candy. It looks great, it looks like you're eating a lot, but it's just malnourished. We taste it and then it disappears. And so like a Britney Spears outfit to me is like, it's like a firework. Everybody's going to look, but then everybody just looks away. It's done. She's gone. It's over. A woman who's modest is like a candle. There's something more mysterious about it. There's something more illuminating and warm and radiating. Like she has like humility of the body. Humility is the proper attitude towards greatness. And I think modesty is the proper attitude towards a woman's body. Greatness.